Hi, and welcome to the Balanced Body podcast series. I'm Carrie Reese Stemler from Paragon Pilates and Physical Therapy in Minneapolis, and I'm here today with Gabrielle, and we are talking about VMO and adductor strength for the dancer. When you're working with dancers, what happens a lot is we're so used to working in a turned out position that the lateral quads and the IT bands get really tight. So we'll want to stretch and open the outer legs and strengthen the adductors and the VMO. So we're going to be working on the chair today, doing a VMO press, and then going into a more advanced exercise, working the lunge series. So Gabrielle's going to bring her feet up onto the pedal, and she's going to be working specifically on the heel or the cup of the heel of the foot. The left leg is going to be on, and I'm going to have her do an attitude in her right leg. So this leg gets a nice turnout, so she's working the turnout muscles of the hip, and she's also working the VMO and the adductor on the right side while she works the left leg. So we're going to pump the pedal down and up with this side. You're watching for pelvic stability. She's still lifting up through her core and pulling in and up through her center. And then I want to kind of palpate the VMO just to make sure that that's firing. So a lot of times this inner leg doesn't want to work, that the lateral quad does take over. So I can even have her push into my hand a little bit to activate that VMO. And you'll feel it popping right up into your fingertips like that. Good. And then resting. So now we're going to advance the VMO work a little bit. We've gone from a seated position, and now we're going into a standing position to work in a more advanced way. So when she gets up on the chair, what I'm watching for is the alignment of the second toe, center of the ankle, middle of the kneecap, and the ASIS bone. Also the levelness of the pelvis. So again, we're revisiting that idea of pelvic stability while we're working the medial leg strength in the VMO. So Gabrielle's going to put her hands on the chair and stand the pedal down first. And then go ahead and step your right foot up onto the chair. And her toe is going to come just barely to the edge of the chair so that the tripod of her foot is really planted into the chair. And then since this requires a lot of balance, I'm just going to be here for her, and she's going to ride the pedal all the way to the top. Good. And then go ahead and adjust your foot back there so you're on the ball of the foot and you feel secure on the pedal. I'm going to have her put a little pressure down into my hands just to get the upper back connected. And then she's going to hold her balance as she goes down and drawing the belly in and up as you ride the pedal all the way to the top. Good. Can I have you let go of my hands? Good. And as she goes up, I'm watching that the abdominals are lifting and that kneecap stays right in line with her second toe. So she's really working from the back of the hip and the hamstring. And I'm here, so if she loses her balance, she can just grab my shoulders, because as I adjust her pelvis, it might throw off her balance. Lifting from the belly and really thinking of the inner legs scissoring together. Good. So now once she's up at the top here, go ahead and bring your arms out to the side again. Keeping the pelvis level, she can reach the leg behind her, like in an arabesque position, and then bringing the leg around to the side as in a rond de jambe, keeping the balance. And then she's going to rond de jambe back around the chair, take a passe, testing her balance. I'm going to let go, holding your balance up there. And then grabbing my hands again, she can reach her foot to the pedal and slowly ride the pedal down, bringing her hands onto the chair. And as you finish the exercise, it's a nice place to just get a good calf stretch. So she can let her heels drop and get a nice calf stretch there. And then go ahead and step off to the back and slowly bring the pedal up. Good. So while someone is up there, you really want to, again, look for the levelness of the pelvis so you don't see any hip hiking. A lot of times the standing leg, the working leg, is going to hike right up. So if you see any shortening in the sides, you want to level that out. And then really work from the hamstring connection in the back of the leg to support that lunge going up. Now, as we go into working side, what we're watching for is that you do have a really nice turnout and that the knee is moving away from the top of the pelvis. A lot of times when we get into the lunges up here, the pelvis tends to close in on itself, and you really want to keep those 2 points, the knee and the frontal hip bone, pulling away from each other so that standing hip is getting a lot of work. So Gabrielle's going to put her hands on the chair and step down with the right foot. You can be in a parallel or a turned out position on that right foot, left foot, and bring your right foot up onto the chair. And she's going to be in a turned out position with her toes pointed to the corner of the chair. Now for safety purposes, I'm going to stand in front of her again. And before she goes anywhere, I'm going to have her pull the top of her pelvis up and really work that external rotation of the femur bone. So I'm going to help her up and just allow her to ride the pedal all the way up to the top, pouring her weight into her right leg. And at the top, go ahead and adjust your foot. Good. And then opening the arms out to the side, little pressure down, and finding the balance as she goes down, and then up from the belly. You want to feel like the inner thighs are scissoring toward one another, and the abdominal wall is drawing in and up. So I'm going to let go with this hand, and I'm actually going to help her by drawing the hip down and drawing the low belly in and up. Good. Inhale and exhale. Draw the inner legs toward one another, going up. Nice. And coming all the way down, hands on the chair. And then go ahead and face the chair and step off to the back. Very nice. So when you're working the lunges on top of the chair in that turned out position, as a teacher, you're really going to want to be there for your students standing in front of them and having them actually press down into your hands, because what that does is it activates their upper back musculature and it actually helps them to connect into their core. And because it is such a challenging exercise, you're going to want to stay in front of them and be there for them when they need it. It's really challenging on the quad, really challenging on the external rotators, and the pelvis, especially with the dancer population, is going to want to go into that anterior tilt. So watching that the top of the pelvis is pulling up and the tailbone is reaching down towards the ground. Thanks for joining us for this Balanced Body podcast.